How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Highway Blossoms. In the last episode, we found more treasure. I'm beginning to really question how much treasure there really is in overall, in general, and how much gold we're even getting out of these boxes. They seem really small. I know someone in the comments of the last episode brought up of how small they seem, how they may just be nuggets, and that's not a lot. I think they're getting cocky over their head, but that's okay, because we're about to get a Yuri adventure. I know that it's coming up. It's just around the corner. We know it's coming. That's what this is all about. It's not about the treasure. It's not about friendship. It's about Yuri, and not on ice. All right. Now that I've embarrassed myself, let us continue on. Even when the box is closed, it radiates a heavy aura, one that's almost intimidating whenever I come near it. I place it in the drawer and seal it away, a sigh of relief following.
2 down, 1 to go.
Whoa, there's only one more piece left?
I think so. There's only some experts writing about historical relevance after the next entry.
Flopping down on the couch next to Marina, I take a sip of my coffee and flip to the final entry of the journal. Marina glosses over the page, a hazy look forming in her eyes as she soaks it in.
I can't believe it's almost over.
Yeah, it's weird that it hasn't even been that long.
Oh, sorry. The motorhome goes quiet, the buzz of the generator humming in the background.
Well, it's not over yet. We still gotta figure out where it is, and then there's still the search.
I think Marina's enthusiasm is becoming infectious. She simply nods, now just gazing into her lap.
Well, let's see what it says.
After several days of travel, I believe I have finally arrived at my final destination. It is well known I have an astute eye for locations. After all, this is how I found my precious bounty, so it is no mistake that I easily found the perfect hiding place within this valley. I arrived on horseback at the blistering peak of noon. Looking for shelter from the coming night, I began noticing something different, something distinct. Crimson, all of it. Shades lighter than pink and darker than blood. The color stained it all. From giant, unmovable stones to the tiniest grains of sand. It was as if the land had absorbed the sun's heat and reflected it outwards. Even at sunset, the cave I settled in emanated a bright red glow that speckled out from its opening. That night, as I laid on the ground, watching the flames of my fire shoot up to the cave's roof, I wondered if there were more places like this out in this unsettled land. During my travels on the trail, I was too preoccupied with preparations to observe the world around me. But now that I have achieved success, maybe I shall. It would be a shame if my superb observational skills went to waste. I got an achievement. Now for the book report. The picture they used for the achievement was the from that SpongeBob episode. If you know, you know. I was never certain about the other locations, and considering how many giant rocks, canyons, and arches are in this country, most of them were probably just a fluke. But this is unmistakable. The vivid and breathtaking imagery, the constant allusions to flames, and most importantly, the heat.
He hid it in the Valley of Fire.
Marina snaps back to attention, my conviction pulling her back from Marina Land.
Are you sure?
Positive. There's no other place it could be.
Oh.
She might as well have shot down my momentum with an elephant gun.
Oh, that's all?
Yep.
No.
Ooh, what's that? A place always on fire?
Yeah, I actually was kind of expecting something like that. She narrows her eyes to an unimpressed squint. If they could shoot lasers, they would be right now.
Amber, how dumb do you think I am?
Extremely.
I didn't say you were...
Always on fire, really?
Now I feel dumb for saying it.
Probably should.
Ouch. If her enthusiasm is infectious, then so is my unrelenting realism. It's corrupting her innocence.
By the way, what's the Valley of Fire?
Well, maybe not too infectious. Massaging my scalp, I shake my hair, hopefully creating enough new wrinkles in my brain that will help with explaining this.
Alright, so take a whole bunch of rock, sand, and dirt, okay?
Okay.
Now make most of it red.
Are we just... Okay, I guess we're just waiting. My explanation is met with a vacant stare.
I swear, it's a lot cooler than I'm making it out to be. It's just kind of hard to explain without pictures.
Don't worry, I believe. Sounds awesome.
You know, I was about to say...
Where is it anyway?
That if anyone here had a phone, you know, just pull it up, but nope. These two individuals don't have one, though Marina used to.
A little ways into Nevada.
Nevada?
Her knees bounce, jolting the table. Is it Nevada or Nevada? I've heard it both ways. I almost said Nervada. It's Nevada. See, it's so weird for me to say Nevada. I've always said it as Nevada. I don't know why people say it as the latter.
Are we even old enough to gamble?
God damn it.
There's more in Nevada than Vegas, dummy.
Still, isn't that pretty far?
That might work to our benefit. I'll need to check the map again, but I think we'll be passing by a place I want to check out.
Her voice brightens.
You actually want to go sightseeing?
Don't act so surprised. It's not like I was gonna make a straight shot for California before I picked you up. Besides, I think you might like it.
Though she does like virtually everything.
It's a place called Zion. It's a national park here in Utah. I hear it's a hell of a lot greener than the places we've been through. I know we're in a rush, so we won't stay very long.
She's going to burst from excitement, and I still can't resist messing with her. It's cute.
But I guess if you don't think we can afford the time...
I expect her to throw herself at me, hug me, squeeze me with all the energy and happiness she usually does it with. But she doesn't. Sitting perfectly still, Marina takes a single breath and gazes at me with a smile.
I've been surrounded by desert all my life. Seeing green for once would be nice. I'd love to go with you, Amber.
An unsettling hollowness expands in my chest as I realize I don't know how to deal with a serious Marina.
Oh. All right, then.
She doesn't answer. Eyes now closed, arms folded in her lap, the empty, cooperative smile more forced than ever.
Well, there's still a lot of hours left in the day. I'm not sure if we'll make it in time to check into the campground, but we'll be close enough that we can do it in the morning if we leave now.
Marina nods. We scooch out of the booth and walk the 10 awkward steps to our seats. Strapping ourselves in, I switch on the ignition and the RV snorting into being. I reach for the cassette player, then look to Marina, already lost in her thoughts as she stares out the window. What is wrong with her? I don't have the heart. No, I don't have the courage to snap her out of it this time. Sighing, I bring my hand back without pressing play and pull the motorhome into drive. It's too bad, too. I think I'm really starting to like Marina's hugs. Off we go. Into the night. Hours and several cups of coffee later, we've arrived at our destination, or at least close enough to easily check in the morning, yet hidden enough to not get towed. Marina looks to the window, but her eyes drift back over to me, then mine to hers. For one drawn-out second, our eyes are interlocked, petrified by the other's stare. Then time continues. Our heads swing in the other direction so fast it takes my mind a few moments to catch up. The side of her cheek I can still see is flushed. Glancing in the rearview mirror, I find mine are too. I grip the steering wheel, then cautiously, without turning my head, look back to Marina. She notices. Our eyes connect again. Blush, rinse, repeat. The past 4 hours have been excruciating, especially while fighting the urge to throw on music. I wanted to give Marina the space she needed to say what she has to, or give myself the space to blurt out what I need to. It was just... Again, Marina looks, I jump, we blush. Never the right time. Deciding I've had enough, I hop out of my seat and stretch. Marina follows. I grab my mug from the holder and drag myself across the scratchy carpet to the sink. A small jolt shocks my finger as I reach for the faucet. The mug slips from my hand and crashes onto the counter, splashing coffee everywhere.
Crap.
Let me help.
Marina springs over and reaches for a kitchen rag, but I swat down her hand and grab it as she does.
Don't worry.
Now we're forced to look directly at each other, but there's no blushing this time. I nod and pull away the rag as her fingers slide down the fabric.
I got this.
She stares down at the counter, the spilled coffee trickling onto the floor with a steady drip.
Oh.
Without another word, she slouches back to the couch.
If you give me a sec, I can set up the bed.
The bed's metal frame slams down with a loud clank that vibrates underneath my feet, followed by the couch cushions swishing past me, landing on the other side of the motorhome.
For ya.
Damn it. Whatever, I'll deal with this in the morning. I toss the rag into the sink and head to my room, hesitating in front of the slider. Please don't let it end like this.
Amber.
There's a pause. Several times I hear small gasps, like she's about to speak, but they all just melt into sighs. Come on.
Good night.
No, come on. Don't do this to me. Don't blue ball me. My hand balls into a fist, my fingernails clawing deep into my skin. I step into the room and shut the slider behind me, immediately throwing my face onto my pillow. I can feel my heart pounding as I roll onto my back. Lying there, twisted up in my sheet, it just keeps beating and beating, never settling down. Managing to lift myself up on my elbows, I look at the picture next to the slider. The one with the vinyl sleeve. I still remember how his hand felt against my head, from the bony joints of his fingers to how their calluses massaged my scalp. For such a breezy old man, it's amazing to think just how strong and confident his love was. I let my head fall back against the bed and rest my forearm over my face.
Oh man, what am I gonna do, Gramps?
Damn, dude. Fucking pulling out the emotions. Holy shit. I thought something was gonna happen. But instead, something happened that I wasn't really, okay with. Nothing crazy happened. A brisk wind curls around me as I step out onto a patch of dirt that can barely be called a parking spot, and a place that can barely be called a campground. Misty curtains have settled over the nearby hills and mountains, and small specks of leftover morning dew occasionally dripping on me from above. Bending down, I drop my backpack and pull on the tongue of my sorta new hiking boots. A little big, but they'll work. Considering these came from the stash of supplies we borrowed from Mariah in New Mexico, her feet must be freaking huge.
All set?
Marina is standing behind me, frowning at her own Velcro-strapped boots.
Just about. These boots are pretty big, though.
You think so? They feel a bit snug to me.
Sheesh. Never mind about Mariah.
Hey, forget about the treasure. Let's just dress you up as Bigfoot and turn you in for a cash reward.
The joke is awful, and I know it. Still, Marina plays along, sticking her tongue out in a half-playful manner, before she forces a tired smile. The whole time, she doesn't make eye contact. Like, did I miss something in the previous episode? Like, in the end of the previous episode? Because I'm confused as to why they are so distant with each other right now. It's kind of disappointing. So much for lightening the mood. Last night's sudden tension is still present, even though we try to ignore it or pretend it isn't there. We both know. We both can't look at each other directly, and our conversation feels awkward and stilted. But we pretend everything's normal as we try to put on our best performances and reenact our usual routine.
So, how long is the hike?
The brochure said about 90 minutes each way. Might take even longer in this weather.
Oh.
I can feel the gulf between us. It's like yet another canyon, except I don't know how to cross this one.
The picture in the brochure was super pretty. Angel's Landing, right?
Now it's her turn to try and lighten the mood. I hate how we're both too afraid to just address the issue. What is the issue? I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm a third wheel already, and I just don't know how to help. Like, I don't know what the problem is. I don't even know if they know what the problem is. But I'm just as guilty as she is here. I sigh and play along as best as I can.
Yeah, it's nice. It's supposed to be the most scenic view in Zion.
That's what Gramps told me anyway. And this hike was one of his favorites. Said the view is so lush, that there's so many trees and plants that he discovered several new shades of green up there. It was one of the spots that he was most looking forward to visiting with me. I glance back up at the mountains. The mist doesn't look like it will clear anytime soon. In fact, it seems to be swallowing up more of the landscape. It's got Marina's attention too. She stares up as if she's picking out specific details in the fog. While she's distracted, I let my gaze rove over her again, guiltily like I'm sneaking glances, but I don't care. Admiring the sweep of her shoulders down into her collarbone and the rest of the curves of her body. I let myself examine her like I did when we first met, and like I've been consciously abstaining from, looking her over like it doesn't matter if she catches me anymore. She doesn't, though. I may as well be invisible to her right now while she studies the mountaintops. And I want her to pay attention to me. She's wearing her usual boutique brand clothes, as she has been this entire game. Their cute frilliness is just as perfect as ever for Marina, but they clash with the clunkiness of the ugly brown boots.
You sure you want to wear that? They might just get in the way.
She gasps, goddammit, almost offended by the suggestion that she wear anything else.
But my skirt is so comfy. Aren't you supposed to wear comfy clothes on hikes? Besides, with a name like Angel's Landing, it has to be pretty relaxing.
She gives me a big, honest smile, tipping her head to the hills. It's the first real smile I've seen from her all day.
So, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
I melt, letting her skewed reasoning fall to the wayside just this once. Warm fuzzies and a goofy grin take over my dour mood just for a moment.
All right, but no whining if they end up being a problem.
Slinging the backpack over my shoulder, we head for the shuttle that leads to the trail. Logs and a stone fire pit adorn the side of each lot that we pass. Maybe when we get back, we'll go to the camp store and pick up some supplies to roast marshmallows. I think she'd like that. Perhaps. Oh God, we cannot see. Marina's heavy breathing guides me as we slog our way uphill, the previous light mist having now morphed into a thick and dreary fog. I cling to the chained railing as I stumble my way up the trail of rocks. It's the only protection from the sheer drop-off beside us. All it would take is one slip for me to take a nosedive into the valley below, and I wouldn't even see it coming. Turns out the fluffy and enticing name Angel's Landing doesn't come with the relaxing stroll Marina was hoping for. And this feels more like a ghastly death march. My sweat-drenched legs feel like pudding under the anchor that is a measly 5-pound backpack. No one else on the shuttle even bothered to attempt the hike alongside us. I attempt to form words between pained breaths, feeling like a rock is being smashed into my lungs with each step.
We should turn back. Can't see Jack. It's not safe up here.
What?
She sounds like she's doing about as well as me, echoing the same lung-puncturing gasps.
But we're so close! There's no way we're not almost there!
We stop, collapsing against our knees as we try to catch our breath.
Not gonna mean a lot if we end up falling off a cliff.
I thought you were the one who wanted to do this so bad.
Every couple words are punctuated by her gasping for breath.
Yeah, but...
Amber, please, let's keep going.
Her voice is a whimper, fragile and meek. I fold.
Okay.
Marina has a way of making me shut up when she wants to, whether she knows it or not. Today it doesn't make a difference. I'm not going to be the one who makes things worse. She's wrong about one thing, though. I wasn't the one who wanted to hike up here. Gramps was. It gets easier after our break. The trail begins to plateau, and the steepness... fucking noise scared me. The steepness evens out, fading behind us until the return trip.
I think we're already here. See? What did I tell you?
Marina darts ahead, disappearing into the fog so she can look at the mythical view that the brochure and I have preached to her, and Gramps to me. But if my suspicions are right, this weather and the view aren't going to be very compatible. Following behind, I step out of the cloudy murk and into an area that offers only slightly more visibility. Marina stands still on the center of the cliff, her hand clutched to her heart. What should have been a bird's-eye view of Zion is nothing but a sea of fog. The lush greenery and full valleys are invisible. Only a few overgrown bushes and some rocky points peek out above the clouds. I was expecting it, but the sight itself really is numbing. The hollowness in my stomach, the one I've gotten so used to feeling, rears its head once again, only intensified by Marina's silence. Any expression shrouded by her bangs as she tilts her head down.
Sorry.
Gently, she shakes her head.
Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. You tried to warn me.
Marina.
But I don't know what to say. I'm disappointed too. There were a lot of places Gramps always talked about visiting. After we settle down and kick back for a few years. After I finish repairing the RV. After I get better. Damn it, dude. This place came up more than the others, though. Not just Zion, but the landing. Kept saying we were going to hike up here, have a picnic, maybe watch the sun come up. A slight smile comes to my face as I think about him trying to make that hike. I'd have liked to see the geezer try. While I'm not a big enough sap to try and make all of my and Gramps' plans happen now, it would have been nice to see the view. With Gramps, Marina, and everything that's happened over the past month, it just seemed fitting to make the trip. Angel's Landing. I glance back to Marina, the hand that was clutched to her chest now stretched outwards, grasping at the empty air. A slight breeze blows through, ruffling her hair. She looks beautiful. She looks angelic. I didn't go to church much as a kid, but she looks like someone I'd see on a stained glass window, right next to a rendition of Calvary or Skull Hill. It's frustrating to have come this far for nothing. But is it because of the fog? Because of Gramps? Or because of Marina? My teeth grinding against each other under what feels like an unimaginable weight.
Come on, let's go.
I turn around and begin down the slope. There's nothing else worth seeing up here. Marina doesn't follow. No spirited footsteps trailing behind me, no speeding bullet blazing ahead.
Marina, we're going.
It comes out with more bite than I intended, but I don't care. I just want to get out of here now. Marina is hesitant to answer, but eventually manages to spit it out, sounding more like a question than an actual statement.
I don't want to.
What?
I don't want to leave. Not yet, anyway.
Annoyed, I turn back to her for an explanation, only to be greeted by a pleading look instead.
I'm used to it by now. I know I am. But Do you think we could wait a little longer? Just to see if the fog clears?
I don't know what it is. I respond with a blank stare. It's like she's not even talking to me.
Don't be stupid.
I start back down the hill, not bothering to wait for Marina this time.
It's past noon. If it hasn't cleared by now, then it's not going to anytime soon.
So much for not making things worse. Ah, man. Don't split up. God damn it, dude. Why you gotta hurt me so? They actually just straight up, like, for the night splitting... Oh, no, they're okay. They're sitting here. I was about to say, like, if you're gonna pull that shit right now and hurt me... Oh, man. I nudged the fire with a stick. It doesn't do any good, though, as the logs just tumble on top of each other, smothering the already pitiful flame. For a moment, our lot is only lit by the few remaining embers in the pit. Sighing, I grab the bottle of lighter fluid and squirt it onto the ashes. An artificial flame roars into existence, then peters to the size of a pathetic candle flicker just as quickly. I plunge the stick back into the fire and scrape cinders from the glowing wood. Eventually, a flame catches on a charred log and grows until the pit is blazing once again.
Aha! About damn time.
The joy is exclusive to me, however, as Marina stays silent, staring into the fire.
Want another s'more?
She bounces back to life.
Oh my god, yes, please.
She catches herself and switches back to broodiness.
I mean, sure, I guess.
So she's forcing herself to be like this. What the fuck, man? I roll my eyes, but can't help smiling on the inside. No matter how hard she tries, she's still the same Marina she's always been. I grab a marshmallow and stick it on the end of a bent coat hanger before handing it to her. Without another word, she plops it into the fire. Meanwhile, my eyes are drawn to the neglected bag of hot dogs lying behind the chocolate and graham crackers, unopened and ignored. I bought them because I thought Marina would like the variety, but I should have known she would only go after the marshmallows. She's been devouring them. She opened the bag when we left the store, and it was half empty by the time we got back to the campsite. She clung to the bag like a security blanket the whole way. It's a miracle there are even any left, Shrugging, I take one of the hot dogs out of the bag and impale it on my coat hanger, then put it in the fire next to Marina's. Even when we're this close to each other, there's still an air of tension. The one that's pervaded since we left Arches. Neither of us have addressed it, but the inevitability of the treasure, the thick uneasiness that hangs over us, it's suppressed, but it's definitely there. Why are they feeling so uneasy about finishing this treasure hunt? Do they think that they're just going to split then and there? What is happening? See, this is why people gotta speak. But it's gotten better ever since we left Angel's Landing. The snacks were a peace offering of sorts, I guess. Although I was pleasantly surprised that she sat so close to me, even with 3 other logs around the fire pit. I fixed my gaze on the flames. The dog is slimy, oozing with condensation, that drips and sizzles in the ashes.
Oh god, it's on fire! It's on fire!
Marina's coat hanger whooshes over me like a spastic comet, the marshmallow now a smoldering ball of inferno.
Here, give it to me.
But it's on fire, Amber! Fire!
I can see that. Just give it.
She panics, squirming as her precious marshmallow burns before her very eyes.
All right, just don't hurt yourself, please.
Frantically, she passes me the wire, biting her nails as I try to blow it out. Soon the fire clears. The marshmallow, once white and fluffy, is now black and charred.
Aw, now it's ruined.
It's no big deal. You can still eat it.
Preparing the s'more, I break apart the chocolate and cracker, then squish the marshmallow between them.
Ew, gross. But it's all black and stuff.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it. Honestly, I think I might prefer it burned.
That's so... ew.
She gives me a nervous laugh.
Here, just try it.
Marina stares at the s'more and gulps.
Fine, but only because you asked.
Closing her eyes, she opens her mouth wide. Wide open. This time it's my turn to gulp. I shuffle back. Subtly try to avoid eye contact, and once again failing, I pop the s'more into her mouth and let out a restful sigh. Like bubble gum, she munches on it in the corner of her mouth, intently trying to dissect the flavor in her own cute way.
So?
Her eyes grow wide in shock.
It's good.
Right? Doesn't it give it a nice smoky flavor?
It's a little bitter at first, but the marshmallow gets really crunchy. So good.
I told you so. You just gotta give these things a shot.
I can't believe I had my first s'more and found a way to make it better in the same day. I feel like that would take most people like a bajillion years to figure out. But it only took me one night 'cause I got you, Amber.
Gobsmacked? Dumbfounded? They're both stupid fancy words, but I think they work when trying to figure out this thing sitting beside me.
Amber?
You're kidding me.
What?
Your first s'more?
Well, I've seen people eat them on TV and stuff before, but...
Don't feel bad. I didn't have my first s'more until a couple of years ago.
You have never ever had a s'more in your entire life.
Now that I think about it, I guess I haven't.
That confirms it.
Huh? Confirms what?
You're an alien. The government has just been keeping you hidden all this time. That's why I met you near Roswell. It's the only explanation.
I am not. If I were an alien, then why do I look human?
That's just a flesh suit. A disguise so you can blend in.
That's mean. You can't just buy these good looks at the costume store.
What's your sector ID? Is this your first time away from your home planet?
Amber, stop. It's not my fault.
Her face puffs out, and I have to resist the urge to poke and deflate it. If I don't quit, she may actually start pouting.
I'm sorry, I'll stop.
I'm tempted to squeeze one more joke out, but decide against it as I try to hold back the snicker under my belt, or my breath. Belt, what the fuck?
I think I like you better when you're serious.
She crosses her arms, turning away as she closes both eyes to block me out. Then with a grin, one eye open. We both burst out laughing. Since the hike, the fog has climbed down the hill, enveloping the campground. Even here, it's carved out a small pocket, the breezy chill surrounding us as we take in the warm glow of the fire. It feels nice.
But for real, I still can't believe this is your first time leaving home.
She settles down a bit and places her hands in her lap, teetering side to side as she looks to the sky, even though there's nothing to look at but mist.
Yeah, sometimes I have trouble believing it too. Since there's so many of us, I guess Mom and Dad could never afford to take us anywhere.
And that's what I thought. And her family is as big as she says, or if her family is as big as she says, it's not like they could have just packed up and traveled like me and Gramps.
You said you have 9 brothers and sisters, right?
Yep, there's 9 of us, plus Mom and Dad, so 11 altogether.
Jesus.
Right? Everyone says our house is pretty big, but it's always been so cramped that I've never been able to tell. I've never even had my own room. I've always had to share one with some of my sisters. My older brother shared too, until one of them went off to college.
Is that the same brother whose car got torn apart by Mariah?
She laughs guiltily.
Yeah, he always called it his love wagon.
If that thing was a love wagon, then my motorhome is a love palace.
Ooh, that's a good name for it.
Don't even start.
Anyway, he said he wanted to get a new one when he got to Salt Lake City, so I don't think he'll be too angry.
Hold on, that's in Utah too. Why didn't you tell me? The detour would have been a pain in the ass. But if you wanted to visit him, I wouldn't have minded the extra miles. Not if it was for you.
Marina does a double take, and I realize I've given too much away.
You'd have to pay for gas, though.
Marina blinks and smiles. Crisis averted.
Nah, it's okay. I want to do this without my family's help. Besides, it's only a community college.
What?
Your brother moved from New Mexico to Utah so he could attend a community college?
Man, that's some expensive-ass bullshit right there.
He sends me a gift every month. Last month, it was a top hat. I put it right on top of the desk in my room.
She pauses for a moment.
Mine and my sister's room, I mean.
Your family sounds about as weird as you.
Really? Huh. Yeah, I guess we are.
She beams, wearing the title of weird like a badge of honor.
That's not a good thing. Actually, maybe it is.
I like it. Besides, Dad keeps us all in line. He's a defense lawyer, super straight-laced. You remind me of him, actually. He likes everything nice and orderly, which is bad for him because he's surrounded by us, but...
She talks for a long time, chattering and laughing about her family, the smile never leaving her face. I almost get lost in it. I almost want to. For the precious minutes that she speaks, I forget the tension that's shadowed us since Arches, and could believe it was never there. I love that about Marina. Even when we're wet with rain, or humoring truck drivers, or racing a lunatic down the highway, she never hesitates to smile. I'm pretty sure she did not hesitate in some of those things. For her, it's always poised on the brim, waiting to shine through, I could listen all night, but she trails off only a short time later.
I'm sorry. This must be boring, right?
Nah, I can tell you love him a lot. It was always just me and Gramps. So it's sorta interesting to see how other families work.
The lot falls silent. Save for the crackling flames, I brace myself for what I know is coming.
Hey, Amber? What happened to your mom and dad?
Uh-oh. I stare into the fire. It pops, casting up delicate embers that fall and vanish in the dirt.
I'm sorry. That was too personal.
No, it's fine. They're both around, I think. Only met Dad once a long time ago. Me and Ma don't get along very well. Haven't spoken to her since I was 16. Last I heard, she was living in some trailer park in Ohio.
Oh, how lovely.
Is that why you lived with your grandpa?
Sorta. Ma always had her issues. So the court said Gramps could take care of me when I was a baby.
I stifle a laugh.
Not that it did any good. The geezer had the bright idea to haul me around the Midwest and East Coast for half my life.
He took care of you all by himself? He must have been amazing.
Try again. He was an old hippie who was stuck in the 70s and spent most of his time listening to weird music.
Sounds just like you.
Hey, watch it. If anything, he was more like you. I was always cleaning up his messes, even as a little girl, even near the
growing lump in my throat.
end.
Amber,
It was always just the two of us, though. Us or any random old friend he wanted to see. Even when he decided to settle down in Colorado, it was just us. People would come and go, but it was always us. And I was there for all of it. I was there for every single appointment. I was there at the hospital, and I was there at the funeral. Ma didn't even bother to come to that, but I was there. And he was always there, too.
you really miss him, huh?
My voice lowers to a whisper, raspy and dry.
Yeah.
Something slumps against my shoulder. Glancing down, I discover Marina's head resting against me.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
She looks up at me.
Want me to stop?
Nah, keep doing it.
Okay.
Yes.
We should turn in soon. We have a big day ahead of us.
Yeah, maybe.
We sit in silence for a little while. Or maybe it's a long time, I can't tell. It's a nice silence, though. A comfortable one. Finally. I guess the tension's cleared? I don't even know what really brought on the tension. I really have no idea why there is such a weird, random-ass tension between these characters, because they were doing just fine. What the fuck? Alright, whatever. Well, I guess we'll just end it here. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all next time. Take it easy.